Let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. This is my first playthrough. It is, dude. It is. How did I get into this mess? This is how the game started, isn't it?
That's far enough. You can't run forever, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
The hell? What have I done wrong?
I can't allow you to go on like this.
But I'm just a simple defense attorney.
Silence! You are no longer worthy of your title.
Oh. I've had this dream before. Someplace, some time ago. As if this day was written into my destiny. Yeah, dude, that's how the game started, with that dream. Today I'll stand in court as a lawyer to prove a killer innocent. Don't do it, Phoenix. Don't do it. Don't do it. Hello, this is Phoenix Wright. You don't look so well, dude. You're gonna prove me not guilty today, right? This piece of garbage. Ha ha ha. If you please, Mr. Lawyer. Remember, it's not just me. Your precious friend's life is riding on today's verdict, too. Now listen up, you better get on guard a guilty sentence, okay? If you get that creepy slime bag and not guilty, I'll never forgive you, ever. That's what she said to us yesterday. Phoenix. Mia? Maya, how is Maya? I don't know. You don't know? She hasn't tried to channel me since yesterday. Yeah, what am I supposed to do? Well, like I said, for a lawyer, the worst of times are when you have to force your biggest smiles. She's never said that before, I think. But you can't give up. There's still some hope left. Stop it. Stop it, please. There's nothing left. Not here, not anywhere. Who's calling now? It's that accursed unguard again. Will you leave me alone? Look, don't call me anymore. I mean it. Oh, really mean, pal. Gumshoe! Oh, yo, I'm really sorry. Where are you? They let me join the investigation team and we're chasing after D Killer, pal. Then you have some sort of lead? Sorry, but right now we got 0 leads on the guy. But we're not gonna give up. God, Gumshoe. Until the trial is over, until the verdict is handed down, we're gonna do everything we can to find D Killer. If we can get Maya out, then you can get Unguard the guilty verdict he deserves, pal. That's true. I could do that if they found Maya first. You got that? So you have to do whatever you can to make this trial last longer. I have to make the trial last longer? If you go at Mr. Edgeworth with everything you got, then you two can draw it out. Oh, now I get it. I believe in you, pal. You and Mr. Edgeworth can do it. So believe in us. We're gonna give it all we got, just like yous. Got it. Thanks, Gumshoe. Hey, Phoenix. You understand now, don't you? You have something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. It's the strongest weapon in the world, and you have it in abundance. Oh, it wouldn't be a Japanese story. It didn't win with the power of friendship. Looks like we're coming to the end. I have to make this trial last as long as I can. Gumshoe will come through. I know it. Gumshoe never comes through. March 23rd, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. Here we go.
The court is now in session for the trial of Matt Unguard.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. And the prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor.
Now, as I recall, we concluded yesterday's section with a big mystery on our hands. The mystery being exactly what Miss Adrian Andrews' role in this murder was. That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Mr. Edgeworth, if you would please inform the court of today's proceedings.
Adrian Andrews. She forged evidence that threw suspicion onto Mr. Ungard, and then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape.
Then you're saying that she is guilty after all?
I am not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews had nothing to do with committing the actual murder. I would like to direct the court's attention to this card.
What is that? It looks like a shell.
This is the calling card of a certain assassin.
Assassin, you say?
Yes. Juan Carrida was killed by a professional assassin. And the person who hired the assassin, his client, so to speak, is Matt Ungard.
What a surprising turn of events.
Man, this is the first time I had to lie in court. I feel scared, man. I would think that it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. I know what's going on this time, so I know that everything Edgeworth has said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can, at least until Maya is safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today.
Now then, please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Now then, witness, name and occupation, please. Okay. I'm Will Powers. I'm a poor, underpaid action star. And what is your relation to the defendant? Well, I guess I'm sort of a lousy mentor in a way. Yeah.
Mr. Powers, please, you don't need to put yourself down so much.
Oh, sorry. Well, but I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy. On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is this correct? Yes. I didn't know that. But I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went. All you need to do is answer what you're asked. Now then, I would like you to please testify about when you went to Mr. Ungard's room. Okay, sure. The visit to Matt's room. Alright. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me.
Nothing sounds out of place in Mr. Powers' testimony.
Talking with the bellboy is no big deal. If one assumes that the person Mr. Ungard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy...
What are you implying?
Well, Mr. Wright, let's have you cross-examined, shall we? Looks like we're in another sticky situation. Huh? It's a trap. Can't you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just gonna have to charge in head first. Alright, after the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. The defendant's room? Why did you go there? Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother sort of, and I wanted to say congrats.
What's wrong? Why did you stop?
Mr. Wright! What is it? You're going to try to trick me into a corner, aren't you? Huh? I know I'm just a poor, underpaid action star, but I'm not the killer. No one said you were, Mr. Powers. No, please, don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy. Every time? Witness, I will personally talk to the defense at a later time. So for now, please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony. Sorry.
So you went to the defendant's room, and then?
Hey, wait a minute. When and how did I suddenly get turned into the bad guy here? Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. Are you sure that was Matt on guard? Yeah, I am sure. He wasn't wearing the nickel samurai mask then. If that's the case, then he really can't be mistaken. And what was the defendant doing standing in front of his own room? He was talking with someone. At first, I thought it was the bellboy. At first? What do you mean by that? Well, he was in a bellboyish uniform and had a bottle of juice on a tray. Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me. Yes, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy. And why was that? Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Sorry, but I can't remember right now. Sorry. I guess I'm going to have to wait patiently on this one. What? I watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. You saw the two of them? The bellboy and the defendant together, correct? Yeah. The bellboy just wanted to say congrats. Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange? You know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. A tip? That's a perfectly normal thing to do.
So how long did you watch the two of them?
Not more than a minute or two, I think. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. So who are these guests you're talking about? You guys, of course. You and Maya and Little Pearl. I thought it would be really rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared on you. So I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway. This is like squeezing water from a stone. Probably pointless to press further. Do you remember this incident? Did Mr. Powers leave his seat that night? I don't remember that happening at all. Maya was making such a racket in her hyper state, I ended up focusing on her. Let's see. In any case, from his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. Okay. This is weird. He was talking with someone. At first I thought it was the bellboy. You saw the two of them, the bellboy and the defendant together. Yes, the bellboy just wanted to say congrats. Now, while you were watching the two of them, did you notice anything strange? I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. Do I have the bellboy in my records? I do. A tip, but that's a perfectly normal thing to do. So,
how long did you watch the two of them?
Not more than a minute or two, I think. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't wait for them. What the? Alright. Awards, he hasn't given us anything to go off of yet. He was standing in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. At first, I thought he was talking to the bellboy. Let's press this again. At first, what do you mean by that? I didn't think he was a normal bellboy. And why was that? Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Hey, wait a second. Actually, Mr. Powers, only a few minutes ago you stated... you know, I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. Could it be that you felt something strange about the tip-giving incident itself? Oh, yes, that's it. You really know your job.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor?
This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he?
Perhaps we should let the witness tell us.
Very well. Mr. Powers, please amend your testimony.
You mean about the bellboy, right? Okay, here we go. Matt gave the bellboy a tip. Press on this. Here we go. So he gave the bellboy a tip. What's so strange about that? Ah, well, you see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me. How much it was? But that's when something even more surprising happened. the bellboy was putting the tip he got in his pocket. And that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked.
I'm afraid I don't follow at all.
Sounds like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask more about, the bellboy's face or Unguard's tip. I want to hear more about the bellboy's face. What was so shocking about the bellboy's face, Mr. Powers? Well, he wasn't exactly a boy. More like an old gramps.
I hope you know that discrimination towards old men is a no-no in my court.
No, that's not what I meant at all. In the smack middle of the guy's face, there was a line of stitches.
A line of stitches?
Yeah, and it went straight from the tippy top of his head to the bitty bottom of his chin. Almost as if the thread snapped, all the stuff in his head would come spilling out. He was there? At Unguard's house. He was that butler.
What is it, Mr. Wright?
Nothing, Your Honor. So that means Unguard was talking to D. Killer then. If that fact were to be exposed, Unguard would be declared guilty in a blink. Phoenix, you have to play dumb here. Pretend you don't know anything.
You sure you don't have something you'd like to say, Mr. Wright?
Huh? What did you just say, Your Honor?
Nothing, Mr. Wright. Nothing. We're just going around in circles here. Now then, Mr. Powers, please continue with your testimony.
All right, let's see if we can ask about the money instead, the tip. Gave the bellboy a tip. What's so strange about that? Blibbity blobbity blue. How much it was? Let's go. All right. Tell me more about Unguard's tip. The defendant is a huge star. He can afford to give a generous tip, wouldn't you agree? Sure, but giving him that much was maybe a little too much, I think. A little too much? Would you please clarify for the court about how much would you say the defendant gave to the bellboy? Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess.
And why is that?
Because he gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash. A roll of cash?
Ah, how interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it?
A very fat roll of cash. That can hardly be called a tip, Your Honor. The judge is beginning to look awfully suspicious of us. Let's raise an objection. The defendant is a superstar. That kind of tip is typically fair for people like him. Are you saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I could receive large rolls of cash simply by bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I be standing around here prosecuting? Got a point. I don't even get paid, let alone rolls of cash for all my hard work.
So supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it?
Payment, Your Honor.
Payment?
Isn't it obvious? For the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida.
Then the bellboy the witness saw.
Yes, he was the assassin.
Hold your horses now. Mr. Edgeworth, don't you have any proof of this?
Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card Shelley D. Killer left at the scene of the crime.
Shelley D. Killer?
He is the person the police's special investigations team has been chasing for ages. I am certain that this person the witness saw was the very assassin, Shelley D. Killer. Really?
What's wrong, Mr. Powers?
No, nothing. Something just clicked in my head and I think I just figured something out.
Oh?
Actually, I saw that bellboy again later on that night. What?
Mr. Powers, please testify. Tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir, right away. He's gonna talk about him taking Maya. This is no good. This is no good. This time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And that's when that bellboy I saw came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Now that I think about it, the bellboy did seem kind of out of place. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin, I'm sure of it. I mean... You mean what? Thank you very much. That is all we need for now. Huh? But I'm not done. There's still more. Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. D. Killer. Then we shall see.
So the bellboy came out of the victim's room. And if that bellboy really was the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious.
That would be correct, Your Honor. Excuse me. Well, Mr. Wright, I believe that it's your turn to entertain us and make us laugh. This is no laughing matter. I don't know how we're gonna hold out. Like, this evidence is just pouring in, dude. This time, I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom. And what time was it? Well, I don't remember. The award ceremony ended around 8, right? And I went to Matt's room pretty soon after that. And then I came back and then I went to the bathroom. So I guess maybe it was around 8:10 by that time.
You're not one for details, are you, Mr. Power?
Sorry. I thought I could maybe catch Matt and say my congrats. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Are you sure it was the same bellboy? Yeah. And how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform after all. But you see, well, he had those stitches in his face. So I'm sure it's the same guy that was talking with Matt. So which room did the bellboy come out of? Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. The victim's room, huh? Yeah, the one with all the really pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was Juan's room, all right. Words cannot describe how screwed I am. Let's continue with the testimony, shall we? Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kind of out of place. So what exactly was so out of place about him? Oh, right. Why the insipid grin? Maybe because I have no idea what damaging thing he's going to say next. Well, the bellboy was empty-handed. Empty-handed? That bellboy was one of those room service people, right? But he wasn't pushing a cart and he wasn't holding a tray either. You would call that a little strange too, wouldn't you?
I agree that it is a bit strange, Mr. Powers.
But is it really that unusual for a bellboy to be empty-handed? What should I do? Should I let Mr. Powers' testimony slide, or... We gotta pull for time, man. Let's try and pull a fast one. There is nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy. But there really is. There really isn't. If you two are done being school children, bellboys are for room service. There is no reason for them to be empty-handed. Ever. Your Honor, I ask that the witness's previous statement be supplanted with this new one. Edgeworth, are you going to do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious?
I see. Very well. This court recognizes and grants the prosecution's request. Mr. Powers, if you could please amend your testimony.
Yes, sir. I thought it was kind of strange for a bellboy to come out of the guest's room empty-handed. So you're saying that it's suspicious for him to be empty-handed? Yeah, really suspicious. I mean, when I first saw that bellboy, he was holding a tray in his hand, and there was a bottle of juice and a wine glass on it. Juice? What kind of juice was it? I'm pretty sure it was tomato juice. If we could come up with some sort of reason as to why he would come out empty-handed, some sort of proof, then I think we can dodge the bullet for now on this one. Proof, huh? Sounds like another job for the court record. Yeah, so he had to be the assassin. I'm sure of it. Okay, so... the proof I can present for now that would buy us some time would be this wine glass filled with tomato juice. because it was next to the victim. It has Andrew's fingerprints, which means that she would have to be lying yesterday. But the fact that he came out of the room empty-handed, but beforehand he had tomato juice with him, would make sense. Going for it. Mr. Power. Yes?
Thanks for subbing. Thank you.
You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that bellboy might have been the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true.
But isn't he really suspicious? He's got all those stitches, and...
So? A baseball has stitches. Are you saying that all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches?
Well, there's also... I mean, what about him being empty-handed?
I would like to ask the court to please take a look here.
This is the crime scene.
There is a wine glass sitting next to Mr. Kurita's body. The liquid inside the glass is tomato juice. And now if you would look at what is on the top of the table in the lower right-hand corner here, anyone can clearly say that it is a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this to Mr. Kurita's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he was empty-handed when he left.
But that would mean that the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room.
Ah, but can you prove that Mr. Kurita was already dead at that time?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth,
Yes?
I blame you for leading me down this route.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. What's with him? Why is he laughing? Witness, isn't there one more thing you would like to share with us?
Is there?
The bellboy was empty-handed, or should I say empty-handed? I recall you had something interesting to say about his hands.
Oh yes, I almost forgot.
Huh? Wait, what? That bellboy. He was wearing gloves. Gloves? Yeah, pitch black leather ones. All of the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right?
Black leather gloves. Why didn't you mention this earlier?
Oh, I'm sorry, it slipped my mind.
Ooh, does this make the bellboy look really suspicious? Alright, I gotta focus. I can't get lax here. So what if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves.
Come on, Mr. Wright. That bellboy was wearing black leather ones.
So? A football is made of leather. Are you saying that all footballs are suspicious just because they're made of leather?
But that man, he did receive a large roll of cash from the defendant. And then he was seen leaving the crime scene wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy.
It seems that we have finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. The rest?
Oh yes, please tell us more.
Okay.
The second meeting.
Well, after leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door just like that. He gave something to the person inside the room. Then the old guy just left, without even going into the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and then back to my seat.
So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, next went to the defendant's room?
Yeah, I kind of saw all that by accident.
Some accident? I'd say you saw too much. And all of it was suspicious to high heaven.
I think it's safe to say that we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Now then, let's get started, shall we? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
Before we continue with the cross-examination, I just want to point out that Edgeworth is super on our side right now. Think about how much Edgeworth is stalling for time as well. He made Will Powers hold off on giving all of his testimony so we could do this bit by bit by bit because he's well aware of everything that's going on. The police force investigating and all that stuff and looking for D-Killer. He knows what position we're in and he's trying to help because Edgeworth is a bro, dude. Yes, Your Honor. Their second meeting. It's weird that you and Edgeworth are working together in this one. Dude, case 5 of game 1, Edgeworth and I worked together too. It was real cool. It's real cool when you get to work together with Edgeworth or the prosecutor. Anyway, their second meeting. Let's go.
After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door, just like that. He gave something to the person inside the room.
Okay, so let's press. I should be pressing. Is that what you saw while you were busy spying?
Excuse me? I may be a poor, underpaid action star, but even I wouldn't stoop to spying.
Well, I think the point is, where did you watch all of this from, Mr. Powers?
Oh, from the door of the bathroom with my left eye in a sort of sneaky spy-like.
I knew he was spying. Please, does it really matter if he was doing it over or underhandedly? What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care to know.
He gave something to the person inside the room.
But what? What did he give? I said hold it.
Okay.
That's better. Ahem. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details.
Oh, okay.
I should probably ask him only one question at a time. Ask about this something. He gave something to the person?
Yes.
And what was this something?
If I remembered what it was, I wouldn't be calling it a something, would I?
But this implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Are you really sure you can't remember, Mr. Powers?
I think it was something kind of small.
This is an incredibly crucial piece of information. Please, try your best to remember what it was.
I'll try.
In the meantime, let's talk of another point, namely, what the bellboy did next.
Oh, so after he gave the person inside the room this thing, then the old guy just left without even going into the room.
Let's press on the asking about the person. I said hold it!
Okay.
Alright. Come on, Phoenix. Enough diller-daller. Ask about the person inside. So who took this something the bellboy handed off?
Actually, I don't know.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm.
Only an arm? Then you're saying you didn't see the person's face?
Yes.
I would like to summarize the testimony up to this point if you don't mind. When the bellboy left the crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There, he had handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. And as for the person who received this item, all you could see was this person's arm.
Yes, it was just like that.
Mr. Edgeworth, is all this really that important?
Of course, Your Honor. I think it is of the utmost importance. This is when whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client.
Mr. Powers, please try to remember what it was that the bellboy handed off.
Well, let's see. I think it was...
If you remember, please add it to your testimony.
Yes, sir.
If I saw it again, I could say for sure, but I think it was some sort of wooden statue.
Do I have anything like that? A wooden bear-shaped figurine covered in many thin cuts. Found in... This was in Shelly D. Killer... Well, in Unguard's house. And it was also on the outside of the door when we got there to try and rescue Maya. And this is a wooden bear, and he says wooden statue. If I saw it again, I could say for sure, but I think it was some sort of wooden statue. Let's press. Let's press and then see if we can present. A statue?
Yeah, it kind of looked like one, I guess. If I saw the actual thing again, I'd probably remember, you know?
Looks like for this trial to proceed, I'm gonna have to come up with whatever this statue thing is and show it to him. Excuse me. You're gonna have to trust your instinct on this one and take a chance, Phoenix.
Well, Mr. Powers, let's continue with your testimony. What did the bellboy do after that?
Then the old guy just left without even going into the room.
Okay, let's present the wooden figurine. What was the point of that pregnant pause?
Where did that objection come from? Well, speak up.
It was me, Your Honor. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling that something bad is going to happen once I show them.
Mr. Wright, if you have something to say, please spit it out.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Phoenix, deep breaths. Mr. Power, that's something you saw. Was it this?
Oh, hey, that is it. That's the something. Wow, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out.
I recall we found this at Matt Ungard's mansion.
At the defendant's house? What does this mean?
It's simple, Your Honor. Shelly D. Killer assassinated Juan Corrida in his room and then stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime.
Then the bear being found in Mr. Ungard's mansion would mean...
It goes without saying, Your Honor. Mr. Matt Ungard is D. Killer's client.
Order! Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, this is a most unfortunate turn of events for you.
Yeah. Sorry, Mia. No, it's alright. Your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured the bear would come up. If not now, then it would have later on. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edge would have. I almost forgot that he knew about it too. One sec, guys. My nose is runny. I almost forgot that he knew about it too.
I think it's clear that there's no need for us to continue this trial.
I can't let this happen. I have to do something. There has to be something we overlooked. Your Honor, a minute, please.
Yes, Mr. Wright?
There's still a few points left that we have not fully explored. What are you trying to pull? Oh?
Well, we can't have that. All right, Mr. Wright. What questionable point would you like to further explore?
The bear itself is something we never explored. We don't know why. The bear has stitches on it in like a weird way that reminds me of the butler / D killer. But also, we could also say the person who received the bear. We only saw the arm. Power's testimony, I don't think will get us anywhere, and we're gonna take damage if we screw this up. We're gonna take damage if we screw this up, so we need to be careful. I say we go with... We want to stall for time. The bear is like a big thing, and if we investigate the bear, it's gonna show off, like, the truth. We want to stall for time. I think the person who received the bear is a reasonable way to stall for time. Let's go with that. There was one thing in Mr. Power's testimony that was very unclear, and that is the identity of the person who received the bear.
He gave something to the person inside the room. I'm sorry, but I only saw the person's arm.
As long as we don't know who it was that took that bear, we can't be sure of... Oh! Huh?
What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're gonna scream like that, at least give us a good reason why.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Actually, so I remembered who took the bear.
What?
Really?
I mean, I only saw his arm, but the arm. It was the Nickel Samurai's arm. I swear it.
You've got to be kidding! Are you sure of this, Mr. Powers?
Yeah, I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai.
Order! Order! It looks like you've dug your own grave. Yet again.
How many times is that today? I've lost count. So the person who took in this little bear was the Nickel Samurai. And as we all know, Matt Ungard is the Nickel Samurai.
Thanks to the defense, we've made that all the clearer.
What am I supposed to do now? Mia, help! You don't have time to act lost. You've got to find another angle to attack this from. Hurry!
Now, I will bring this cross-examination to...
Hold it! Your Honor!
Again, Mr. Wright? We've already removed any and all questionable areas of the testimony.
It's about time you were removed from this court, Mr. Wright. I have to find something. Even one more little point will do. There are still questions left unanswered. What are you trying to pull?
Oh, well, we can't have that. All right, Mr. Wright. What question would you like to explore further?
The bear. It's gotta be the bear. I think it's fairly obvious that the bear itself is very questionable.
The bear? Mr. Wright.
This was found at Mr. Ungard's mansion. However, Mr. Ungard was arrested at the hotel that night, which means that since the murder occurred, he has not had a chance to go home.
Oh.
I think Your Honor has already figured out what I'm trying to say. Is it not possible that it was Mr. Ungard who took this, or it is not possible that it was Mr. Ungard who took this bear to his mansion?
Why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There's no way, time-wise, for the defendant to have taken this bear home.
Whew. Disaster averted. You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright. Huh? I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Ungard's mansion. We have this area completely surrounded. There's no way for him to escape. Can't believe it. That butler, all this time, he was D-Killer. D-Killer and Ungard were working together, so to speak, and D-Killer was hiding at Ungard's mansion, but as its butler.
What a bold move.
The bear figurine was brought back to Ungard's mansion by D-Killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, Ungard had him do so. I assume because it would have been bad had the police found it during their investigation. Well, Mr. Wright, you've been quiet for a while now. This is too much. Isn't there anything I can attack at all?
I think we've heard enough. We now know why this bear figurine was at the defendant's mansion, as well as who it was who received the bear from the assassin in the room. Everything has become very clear. The client who hired the assassin to commit the murder was Mr. Matt Ungard. I see no reason for this trial to continue. Therefore, I will now hand down my verdict.
Thank you, Your Honor, for understanding. You see, Mr. Wright, you could not win against the truth, could you? I knew it would turn out this way. After all, what Edgeworth has stated is the truth.
Any last objections, Mr. Wright?
Well, do I? I have to. I have to. I'll see whatever... Now I will announce... Oh. There's only one way for me to drag this trial out. The only thing I have left is this one dirty trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is a client of the assassin. Reason number one, he accepted the bear figurine from the assassin. And reason number two, that very same figurine was found at the Ungard mansion. But however, it's possible that this was all the work of a certain other person.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, it's possible a different person is D-Killer's real client.
The real client?
Yes. Is this all you have?
Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your theory. Who do you say is the real client of D-Killer, and therefore, the real murderer?
Well, it can't be, so, this top row of people, it can't be any of them. The bottom row, I don't think it can be any of them either. I think our obvious choice here is Adrian Andrews. Think about it. She is stated to have stolen a costume, so she could have taken the bear from the murderer. And if we're bluffing here, we can say that she gave Ungard money to pay the butler, or she instructed Ungard to pay the butler with money. Because think about it, Will Powers stated he saw the Nickel Samurai costume. The only other person he could have seen that fits that same testimony is Adrian Andrews. And we know it's not her. We know for a fact, but we gotta buy more time.
Adrian Andrews?
Yes. We already know that she tried to frame Matt Ungard for the crime by wearing a spare Nickel Samurai costume. Oh, then the Nickel Samurai's arm that I saw, that could have very well been Miss Andrews.
But what about Mr. Unguard?
If you would please recall yesterday's testimony. The defendant was taking a nap during the break period.
That's right. Then, finding this figurine at Mr. Unguard's mansion?
It was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion on this?
I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense's logic, besides which there is no evidence to support it. However, I can't fully discount its possibility either.
What's with this trial? Come on, anybody can tell Unguard did it. I can't believe the defense would go so far as to pin the guilt on someone else.
Yeah, unbelievable. It's not something petty. It's murder of all things. This is to save Maya. This is to save Maya. Even if the whole world turns against me, this is one fight I can't give up on.
Order! Order out there! All disruptive parties will be forced to leave the courtroom.
Your Honor. For the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with his what-if game.
His what-if game, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense's theory. Mr. Wright, even you must have thought it strange and wondered, why would the criminal want this little wooden bear? He's right. D-Killer did specially bring that bear to Unguard right away. Why, do you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely, and I'm sure that once the court knows of its significance, the true killer's identity will become crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews.
And who would that be?
It's quite simple, Your Honor. Miss Adrian Andrews herself. God.
I see. Well then, the court will take a short 10-minute recess. The prosecution will prepare its witness in that time.
Yes, Your Honor. March 23rd, 11:54 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby, Numero 3. Oh, I knew it was a good idea to hold her hostage. Don't you agree, Mr. Lawyer? But I never thought in your desperation you'd try to pin the guilt on Adrian. Oh, I swear this demon will pay! Mr. Nick? Pearls, where's Mia? I don't know. A really strong power suddenly called her away. A really strong power? The phone! Is it Gumshoe? Mr. Nick, your phone! It's from Gumshoe. How's it going, pal? Have you been hanging in there? Yeah, sort of. We just barely found something to latch onto. Whew. That's good, pal. And what about you? Anything yet? Have you figured out where D-Killer and Maya are? We still don't have any leads, but... What? We don't have any more time! If we just had one, even a single clue, that would be really helpful. The only way we're gonna get a clue is if Maya is channeling Mia right now, lets her go, and then Pearls re-channels Mia, and I get the clue from her, and then I call Detective Dick Gumshoe. That is the only way we can get a hint to him. I was only able to go this far because I kept thinking to myself, I've got to keep the trial going until Maya's been rescued. But have I just run out of luck this time? Is all of our hope for naught? A tent. Huh? A tent? I could see a circus tent. Mia! It looks like Maya was unconscious until just a few minutes ago. As soon as she woke up, she called for me. So it was Maya that called you away. She's locked in a dusty little room right now, but I could see a circus tent outside the window, about 300 feet away. Gumshoe! Is there a circus in town right now? There's only one, pal. The Berry Big Circus. Maya is somewhere within a 300-foot radius of the main tent. What? Okay, hold on a sec, pal. Hey, draw a circle on that map, about 300 feet radius of the main tent. Hurry! And I could see a mailbox under the window. Gumshoe, there's also a mailbox. Okay, what else? What else, Mia? Sorry, but that's all I could get. It was a very small window. It felt like I was in an old office building. Maybe the 3rd floor or so. I heard her! An old office building. Good stuff, pal. Okay, just hang in there a little longer, pal, and wish us luck. Good luck. I'll call you later, so don't let your battery die, okay, pal? Beep. Mia, Maya's not hurt, right? She's in a pretty bad state, Phoenix. She's being starved. Gumshoe, please hurry. Looks like we're out of time. Are you alright, Phoenix? It's only a matter of time before Maya's rescued. I can do this. I just have to make the trial last a little longer. March 23rd, 12:05 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3. We're back in. We're calling Adrian Andrews to the stand.
The court will now reconvene.
D. Killer, the man who murdered the victim, handed this to his client. From this, one obvious question arises. Why this particular item? I believe the answer to that question will provide us with the names of the real criminal. Now then, the prosecution calls the defendant's manager, Adrian Andrews, to the stand. Currently, the witness is accused of tampering and obstructing of justice. However, you have been called to the witness's stand today to ascertain who exactly is guilty of the murder. I understand. Very good. Now, have you ever seen this bear before, Miss Andrews? Of course I have.
You've seen it before?
That's right. It's only natural that the witness has. Miss Andrews, could you please enlighten the court to this bear's secrets? All right. Why does she... Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it.
So this figurine, it's a container of sorts, is it?
Yes. Looks can be deceiving, wouldn't you agree?
Yes. This is superb craftsmanship. Oh yes, I nearly forgot. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
It looks like there really was something to that bear after all. The bear figurine. Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. Alright, let's press on this info. A puzzle? That's right.
But it looks like an ordinary figurine.
True enough. To people who don't know, I'm sure they would never guess this was a puzzle. So what kind of puzzle is this exactly? If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. So you can take it apart? And how would one go about doing that? Well, you first turn its tail to the right and then push it in.
Oh, yes, I see.
After that, the arms and legs are free to move and can be removed.
Oh, this is most interesting.
Boy and his new toy. Wait, it's 5 all over again.
Oh, don't mind me. Go ahead and carry on.
I think he's lost it. So what do you find after you take the puzzle apart? At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. And how do you know about this? I know because I was the one who bought it. Huh? It was a souvenir from when a friend and I went to Switzerland. Then
this was a present from you?
That's right. It was a puzzle in the shape of a bear, so I thought it would be perfect for Juan. So it was a present from Miss Andrews. Witness, let's continue with your testimony. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the correct order, you can't open the bear. So who exactly knew how to solve this puzzle? Only the two of us, Juan and myself. It was a souvenir from Switzerland, so I doubt there are many people with the same bear in this country.
But this looks like it can be easily broken, especially if someone wanted to get what was inside.
Well, it is a toy, but it can never be the same once it's been broken. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. Who else knows that this bear is actually a small container, or a jewelry box? I never told anyone, and as long as Juan never told anyone either, then only the two of us knew. The two of you, huh? Then of course that means Mr. On Guard didn't know, right? I think this is about all I'm gonna get for now. Figurine updated in the court record. Let's see how it was updated. We can. Well, Mr. Wright? Check the figurine. A wooden puzzle with a hollow inside. Only Corita and Andrews know how to open it. We gotta open this puzzle. Well, Mr. Wright, I think even you have come to realize that there's one very important fact we have uncovered, and that is this. That bear is actually a jewelry box. Now that we have agreed to this point, there is only one logical question that can come next, and that is this. What is inside the box?
What's inside?
That's right. That's what we're going to find out next. Witness,
Yes?
you are the only one who can open this. Please. There's a painful silence over the courtroom. All eyes are on Miss Andrews now as she solves the puzzle and takes the bear apart. There it is. What do you guys think? I think it might be the wedding ring for when Karita and Celeste were supposed to get married. I've opened it. Is this what you wanted?
What is that?
It's a suicide note.
It looks like a note.
I don't think we need to guess at what that is, do we, Mr. Wright? It's the suicide note.
The suicide note?
The suicide note left by Juan Carita's former manager, Celeste Inpax. Until now, no one knew of its whereabouts, but just as we suspected, it was hidden. Hidden by the victim, Juan Carita himself. It seems Celeste Inpax had very beautiful handwriting. And she just as beautifully signed her own name on this document. This is most definitely the note she left right before she committed suicide. Oh my god.
Order! Witness! Do you know about this?
Yes, I did. I heard all about it from Juan. When I discovered his body, I looked for the bear. I wanted to destroy the note before it became public, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Because it had already been taken by D. Killer. Everything is going at Mr. Edgeworth's pace. So now that the suicide note has been found, what's the next logical question? What is written on the note? That's right. At least that's what I would think. Now then, I believe it is only appropriate the contents of the note be made known. I can't stop you, can I? I went through so much just to get my hands on it, and I was going to burn it. For her sake. I am deeply sorry, but I can't allow you to persuade me to stop. Your Honor, if you could please read the contents of the note aloud.
Very well.
The judge's voice rang loud and clear through the dead silent courtroom. In her note, Celeste Inpax left to us a record of all that had happened to her, about being used and then thrown away by Ungard, and about being engaged to Karita and Ungard's role in destroying that, and about how she decided, in her despair, to end it all.
And that's all Miss Inpax had to say.
There's one thing I would like to say here. The prosecution has no interest in slandering Mr. Ungard.
Then what?
Our intention, Your Honor, is to establish a motive for the murder. Isn't that correct, witness? Yes. On the night of the murder, Juan was going to make the contents of the note public. After the post-ceremony show, he was going to hold a press conference.
My word.
Matt Ungard values above all else his refreshing like a spring breeze image, which is why he had to stop this note from being made public. At any cost. Oh. It's Ungard's fault that the woman killed herself. And this time he even went so far as to kill someone to stop him from revealing that.
Oh, terrible. What a selfish person.
I guess there's slimeball lawyers out there who'll defend these creeps too.
Man. There is no margin for doubt here. Mr. D. Killer's client's goal was to obtain this suicide note, and the only person who needed this note so badly is the defendant. Let's not forget that the bear with the note inside was found at the defendant's house.
It seems that we've come to the truth at last. The defendant's motives were entirely selfish. He deserves no sympathy from anyone.
How am I supposed to escape from this one? Why the hesitation, Phoenix? Gumshoe hasn't called yet, so you know what you must do. I know, I have to carry on and buy him some more time. Okay, there are 2 deadly pieces of evidence. The figurine and the suicide note. Maybe somehow I can find a way out of this situation through one of those. The gavel is already in the judge's hand, Phoenix. Hurry! Suicide note or the figurine. Which one of these should I pursue? I don't know, guys. I don't know. What do you think? Is it the suicide note or is it the figurine? Chat, I need your help. How did Unguard know the note was in the bear? That's a good point. How did he know it was in the bear? Because you're right, only Adrian and Juan knew the bear was a box. But... actually, no. Why would it even be in the hotel room to begin? Oh, because he was gonna show it. That's right. Adrian said only she and Juan knew, say figurine, but other people are saying, I don't know, we got a bit of a split on this. Suicide note for some. Let's think about it. The figurine's suspicion that we can slow the case down with is the fact that there was no way for Mr. Unguard to know that the suicide note was in the figurine. But the suicide note was just freshly opened, right? So there's no actual proof that it's the same suicide note that Celeste left. This could be forged. He just said it was beautiful handwriting. That alone doesn't make it hers. I feel like the figurine is more suspicious, I think. Let's see if we can investigate the note more in depth here. Found inside of the figurine, it tells of Unguard's horrible misdeeds. Wooden puzzle with a hollow inside. Only Karita and Andrews knew how to open it. Didn't Miss Impacts sign her photo? Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right. If we could compare the signatures, then we could... I mean, we could draw that out a little bit more. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, if we want to draw for time, if we want to buy time, they're not going to be able to just look at the handwriting on the photo and look at the handwriting on the suicide note and just be like, yeah, oh, it's the same person. They're going to need to take some time to investigate it, right? They're not going to be able to just look at it. They're going to need to it'll definitely need to eat up more time than saying the figurine. The figurine, Edgeworth is going to just debunk with some piece of knowledge or something like that. The suicide note will need actual investigation and analysis done to make the actual link. And while we know that it's definitely true, the time will have to be taken. Suicide note, 100%. Please wait, Your Honor. Oh man, look at that lawyer.
He's still going at it? It's like he doesn't care that he's trying to get a killer off the hook.
I think Your Honor believes that Matt Unguard killed in order to obtain this note.
Yes, that is correct.
But that seems a little strange. In fact, I think there is a contradiction here. This note was hidden by Mr. Karita until the night of the murder. If that is the case, I say that Matt Unguard could not have known what was written on this note.
Oh? I didn't think of it that way.
Exactly. But I did think of it that way, and I thought it was rather strange. No one in their right mind would kill for a note without first knowing what it said.
Order, order, order! You make a valid point, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion?
It was just a flash, but I think I did rather well on this one. Unfortunately, I think he believes differently. I believe a show of appreciation is in order.
Huh?
The defense seems to be in love with wishing more despair upon itself. I would like to direct the court's attention to this.
What is that?
It is a very small video camera, Your Honor. This type of camera is commonly used as a means of spying.
Spying?
What the? I thought that the spy camera was in my possession. Matt Ungard and the victim Matt Ungard and the victim both thought of the other as their biggest rival. They even went so far as to use this type of item to find each other's weaknesses.
And?
The victim, Juan Carrito, was being spied on. His personal life was being watched by none other than Matt Ungard.
Order! Order! Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
you... Don't tell me you knew about your client's spying activities.
Well, sort of.
Sort of is not an acceptable answer, Mr. Wright.
I see you are confused, Mr. Wright. You're probably thinking,
But I have the camera stuffed. I have the camera that was in the stuffed bear's eyes.
but this camera that I have is not the same one. Last night, I searched the victim's house on a hunch, using this Gumshoe's bug sweeper. By the way, Mr. Wright, the defendant's fingerprints were found on this camera.
Matt Ungard's fingerprints were on there?
Well, Phoenix, it looks like those cameras were hidden all over the place. What am I supposed to say to that evidence? I think this is the end. It's fairly obvious that Matt Ungard learned of this suicide note through this. He was watching the victim all along. Got me good this time. I don't have anything to counter that.
Hey, now what's that lawyer thinking?
Mommy, is that man the bad killer guy?
Shush, stop. Don't look at him. The way he's sweating is just so, nasty. Phoenix. Yeah, Chief? Have you figured out what you're going to do next? What I'm going to do next? Does running away like a frightened child work? I know it seems like Mr. Edgeworth is very close to putting the lid on this case, but in his eagerness to prove his point, he forgot one important thing. Well, what is it, Mia? There's a piece of evidence that he really should investigate. Something he should investigate? I would really hate to see the good prosecutor get scolded for not remembering to look into the item when he had a chance. Why are you speaking in riddles all of a sudden?
All right, I think this time we finally understand everything. Well, Mr. Wright, you don't have any further objections, do you?
What is this piece of evidence that Mia is talking about? Can I figure out what it is? That still needs to be looked at? Or should I let it go? No, I need to present evidence. I have an objection, Your Honor. Oh my god. Phoenix. That was about the weakest objection I've ever heard, Mr. Wright. Your Honor, the defense has no intentions of letting this go so easily.
You're beginning to sound so desperate.
That's just your imagination, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, this is not like you at all. In your eagerness to prove your point, you've forgotten one very important thing. Hey, isn't that what I just said? So you're telling me that I forgot something? You're so close, Edgeworth. But there's something you really should examine about this piece of evidence. About this piece of evidence. Well, let's think about my previous theory about the handwriting didn't really go anywhere. It ended up being an issue of how he knew about the suicide note. So the suicide note, the figurine, there's nothing left to investigate. But this photo and the suicide note both have the writing of Celeste, and we haven't addressed that yet. I think the suicide note is our next move.
That is Miss Impact's suicide note, right?
Who knows? I mean, sure, this suicide note was found inside this bear, but this bear was in my possession until a few moments ago, which means the handwriting on this suicide note has yet to be analyzed.
Oh!
So, as to whether this pivotal piece of evidence was really written by Miss Impacts or not, has yet to even be remotely confirmed. There we go. We bought our time, guys.
Mr. Wright, you can't seriously be suggesting...
Mr. Wright, are you saying this suicide note is a fake? Miss Andrews, you were the one who tried to pin this murder on Mr. Ungard. Who's to say you didn't create a fake suicide note and put it into the bear? How dare you? Your Honor, The defense is indiscriminately accusing the witness again. There is no evidence linking the witness in the suicide note whatsoever. But if this is a fake, then the witness is the only person who could have made it. What? Recall the witness's testimony concerning the figurine. The only person other than the victim who could solve the puzzle is the witness herself. Miss Andrews, you wrote this note, didn't you? You wrote it so you could use it to frame Matt on guard. I did no such thing. Right. If you're going to pronounce this suicide note a fake, then show this court some evidence to support your theory. Mr. Edgeworth, you were the one who presented this scrap of paper as evidence. That means the burden of proof lies with you, the prosecution. So happy for once we got to be the one to say that. And they're always telling me, where's your proof? Where's your proof? I'm so happy.
That's enough. Mr. Edgeworth, can you confirm the handwriting on this suicide note?
It's as the defense stated. The handwriting is yet to be analyzed.
If that is the case, then it seems that yet again we have reached a point where the verdict is impossible.
That's impossible! This isn't good, Phoenix. The judge is going to carry this trial over one more day. If I don't think Maya will be physically able to make it another day.
I didn't want to have to do this, but I don't have a choice. I request that both the prosecution and the defense further investigate.
Handwriting analysis, my butt! That's just the lawyer being a piece of garbage. On guard is guilty. Any idiot could tell you that. I think we've reached the end of the line. Guilty! 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 Chant it with him, chat. Man, this court is crazy. This is kangaroo court. The phone! Yes!
What is that sound?
It's Gumshoe. Hello? Gumshoe. What's with him? And what's with that sigh? Where's Maya? What happened to D-Killer? He got away. What? I'm sorry, pal. I really am. I don't know what to say besides I'm sorry. I wish there was some way to make it up to you. I really do. Anyway, what's going on? We found his hideout, pal. But the two of them were already gone. This is terrible. I'm going to keep looking for them, pal. Don't you worry. I just need a little more time. But don't tell me we don't have any more time. Guilty! 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 I really thought we were in the clear there. Did you hear that? They're calling for his head. Mr. Wright. Can't. For us to come this far and... Oh! What was it? Let me talk to Mr. Edgeworth. I can't do that.
Mr. Wright, would you please get a hold of yourself?
Yes, Your Honor.
I am about to end today's proceedings. You may take your phone calls after.
Hold on, Your Honor. Edgeworth, catch. No way. Mr. Edgeworth, please, you gotta buy us some more time. Court is in session. I'm sorry, Your Honor. You were saying?
Mr. Wright, this is a court of law!
Sorry, Your Honor, but...
I am reluctant to do this. However, it appears that I have no choice but to suspend proceedings until tomorrow.
I really can't do anything this time.
Court is now adjourned for the day.
The objection. There it is. Please wait, Your Honor. Edgeworth?
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I humbly request another 30 minutes of Your Honor's time.
For what purpose?
We can perform the necessary tests on this piece of evidence in that time.
But can you really obtain your results in 30 minutes?
I believe that we can, Your Honor.
But wouldn't it be better if we adjourn for today and then reconvene tomorrow?
30 minutes! Please, Your Honor. That is all I am asking for. Please, Your Honor.
Very well. At the prosecution's request, this court will now take a 30-minute recess. But be advised that I will not allow another recess today.
Not sure if this is helping or hurting us.
The court will now take its final recess of the day.
Oh my god, dude. Right. Well, what's going on with Maya's situation? D-Killer. It looks like he got away again. 30 minutes. We can't find her in that time. Report! Is that Mr. Edgeworth? We don't have time. Just spit it out. Right. It looks like we just missed him, sir. But D-Killer left a few things behind by accident in the rush to get away. A few things? Can we use any of them as evidence? Ho ho. I thought you'd ask that, pal. I got the things he had left with me right now and I'm on my way over. Really? That's odd. Any items like that are usually sent to the crime lab first. We don't have time to wait for those guys, sir. When those guys weren't looking, I swiped the stuff and ran. What? Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to. I'm really sorry, sir, but I got to put the law on hold for now. Sounds bad. I hope he doesn't get in trouble for this. With my hunk of junk car, I'll be there in 20 minutes, sir. Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. Alright, just get here in one piece. I'm on a mission and no one can stop me now, sir. No one. I'm pulling out all the stops and running every red light. Items left by the murderer, huh? Maybe there's something among them that'll be decisive enough to end all this. What in the... No way, is that Gumshoe just crashed into the building? What's wrong? Detective Gumshoe, answer me! No one can stop. No! What happened? It sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well. What is he thinking? We've got to hurry and call for help. We have no idea where he is. His cell phone is broken and he wasn't driving a patrol car, so no radio either. And also, if we don't get those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. No, we can't let that happen. Well, if there is a way we can find out where he is, then we can stand a chance. Why, oh, why did Gumshoe have to get into an accident now? Is there any way to find out exactly where he was at this moment? Is there? There is! There is a way! That's right, there is a way! What? How? I'm sure we can find out where Detective Gumshoe is through this. Guys, don't forget, remember? Franziska von Karma has a tracker device on Gumshoe. Why are you bringing up Franziska at a time like... Oh, I see! I'll try and get in contact with her. The chances are slim, but she's all we have. Franziska. Will she even want to help us? Edgeworth. What is it? I don't have any right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client is guilty, but what I'm doing now, I'm pinning the guilt onto someone totally innocent and using evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say, defense attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death. Right. It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears. Whether you did your job well or not, that can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. The verdict. Is Prosecution Edgeworth here? Yes, bailiff? There's a phone call for you, sir. They said it was extremely urgent. They're probably finished with the handwriting analysis. I have to go take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what it is you must do. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god, guys.